Alright, good evening my friends. In this 164 custom diecast video today, Wednesday, I'm sorry, no it's not Wednesday, what am I talking about? It's Thursday, September 22nd. So I am going to build this Matt Tifft 2014 unsponsored pick-em-up truck. And I've already got my certificate of authenticity built. And I've already got the little, oops, that's not it. The little display case put together. You can see. Talked to you about my display cases in the past. M2 repurposed display cases. And so it's going to be unsponsored. I've made one before and I used these red decals for the spoiler, the lower valence, the side skirts. I think I'm going to completely forego those this time and just use my red gloss pen. It's a little bit quicker and easier, especially for the spoiler and the lower valence on the front sides. Yeah, it's probably not as quick, but even still, I think I'm going to give that a try this time. But where I start with these trucks, so if you've ever done one of these customs, the trucks are a little bit of a pain. Maybe no more than a car, but a couple of the pain points is getting the grill and the headlights, to line up and to be nice and smooth. That can be a little bit of a pain. It's not too bad on this car on this truck because the headlights are already kind of angled. You can see how they're kind of angled up, and this is the decal that comes from the side, and you can see, you just need to match those up and you're good. So I'm pretty happy with the way this particular decal set's put together. The other area that's a pain, and well, one of the good things is, if you don't know, and I learned this from one of you followers, is that all of these truck bodies are the same. Even though it may say Ford or Chevy or Toyota, the actual die-cast body is exactly the same from truck to truck. The front nose is the same. It's very interesting. But what I've learned is you kind of have to work some magic around this back area, because typically the designs don't fit too well. And so the way I do these is I usually start with where the fuel door goes, and as you can see, in most cases it's tied into that side light. You can see it's one decal. So I usually put that on first, and that tells me about where my rear tail lights go, because you line those up together and you kind of work your way around that side. So let's get this stuff in the water. And I cut apart all of the decals that go on the back of that tailgate, because they just don't, it's just best to separate them out and do it that way. There's some ridges and things like that's back there, and it makes it a little bit difficult. And then I like to use these hood pins because they're all equi-spaced, and there's no dots on the die-cast body where the hood pins are. So if I can use those decals for the hood pins, I'll use them. So I usually do that. Alright, I'm going to jump around in this video and do a lot of different things, guys, so just to give you a little bit of a heads up. Got this Daniel Suarez car, and what I'm doing here, because there's little dots for where on the die-cast body for where the hood pins are, I don't use the decals, and I just get my aluminum paint out and I dot them up. Whoops. Almost dropped it. Just a little bottle. And get a little bit in this cap and then use that to try not to glump it on there, you know. But just get it like that. And then there's two in the back here for the deck lid. You rarely see custom diecast makers do that. I don't understand it. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, and it gives a nice little authentic touch to it. So if you guys are making your own diecast, go ahead and do that. Don't forget that last little thing. It's probably one of the last things you do, but usually try to get a coat or two, a sealer on it, and then start doing stuff like that. So the other thing I did was I took my flat black paint pen and I just went over the JB Weld, because it's, you know, it's gray, and I figured might as well darken that up a little bit, because this is flat black. It was actually gray and I painted it flat black to match everything on the inside. So yeah, real happy with that. This is how the Dale Earnhardt car has turned out. Got those decals on the side. Real happy with this so far. I decaled that stuff yesterday. The 96s go on where the headlights are, and on where the back is there. It's kind of interesting. So very cool. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a couple coats of clear sealer on this, and then I will paint. I'll get my silver, probably my silver paint pen, and I will paint this chrome where the bumper's chrome. Probably I'll try to see if I can touch up the door handle if I can. We'll see. And I'll go around this front grille, maybe around this headlights. I'll look and see the pictures and see what they look like. But yeah, pretty happy with this. Pretty happy with this, how that's turning out. Alright, I got an email back from Mr. Eric, and he's ready for this, so I'll probably take a picture and send it to him. But yeah, happy with how this has turned out. And yeah, real pleased. You saw me do that yesterday. Alright, let's see. Just to show you how things have turned out, Mr. Brandon, your Ricky Stenhouse, Sonny D, that is done. Mr. Doug, I'll hold on to this unless you tell me to ship it. No, shipping up north to Canada is kind of expensive. I've got I think a couple more to make for you here. And let's see, where are you, Mr. Gibbs? Here is the final product of the Ty Gibbs Monster. Here, let me take it out of the case. You can see how the matte finish has turned out. You know, I always have to go back over it and kind of touch up a little spot where I may have missed it. I think I've got them all, but real happy with this. It's hard to hide some of the streaks in here, but the challenge is, you know, to try to make it as lifelike as possible. So, but yeah, gentleman had asked, hey, isn't that supposed to be matte? And it is. That's exactly what you have. So you got to gloss it all up first, and then you do the matte finish. All right. So what's coming up? I have my next row here. Let me show you. These are the little cases I have for the Matt Tiff truck and the Daniel Suarez Coca-Cola car. That's what these little things are. Mr. Matt, I've got your Bomberito and your Brad Keselowski Western Star and your Rich Bickle number 99 Pontiac. Now, just a couple things on that. So let me show you guys my phone. A couple things I'm looking at here on my phone, and I'll show you some pictures of how I'm looking at this. Alright, so one of the things that I was looking at, I know this is an awkward way of doing this, guys, and I apologize, but here's how I'm looking at this car. So that's a difficult paint to match, and I don't really have that type of color. You can see it's kind of a burgundy, but whoops, where are you? It's kind of a burgundy color. At least that's what I'm seeing. And yeah, I think that's probably the best. It looks red, but it's got a little purple hue to it. So looking around, I decided, hey, I'm going to go and check out and see what I can find at the store. So I went to Walmart, looking around, and I think I'm going to try this. This is the Color Shot Wine Stain. It's going to be a satin finish, so it's not gloss. I'll have to gloss it up. But I thought that was a good match of any. And so I'm going to give that a go. I think it'll turn out well. But that's some of the trouble that you go through in trying to find the right paint. And, you know, paint that's, you know, I can pick up. This is a $5, you know, spray can. So at a reasonable cost, I'm not going online and buying some $15 can of spray paint for a single car. That's not it. So yeah, so just looking at the different pictures and trying to get the right car. All right, so one other thing, let's see if I can pull it up here. One other thing I'm looking at is this Jamie McMurray number 26 car. So this is where I'm at with this thing. I use the grape color, and I touched up black around there. This car is a pain in the backside, guys. And let me see if I can go back maybe and get a better picture. I had been on that one last. There you are. Alright, you see how this is like, I've got to paint, got it yellow or purple. I've got to paint this. It's kind of a standard yellow color here, and it's going to go up onto the hood down here. Whoops, I don't want that. And all yellow back here. This A pillar, B pillar is all yellow. So I need to paint all that before I put the windows back in. And then I'm going to have to paint this white along the bottom here, because the decal set doesn't come with that. It comes with this white strip that goes across here and these designs here, but it doesn't come with anything yellow or white like that. See that? So I've got yellow to paint, I've got white to paint, and then I've got to paint that cowl black. The spoiler I got to paint black. So yeah, that's that. I've made this before a few times, and it's a pain in the backside. So but that'll be fun. That'll be fun. What else did I have here? Oh yeah, I had this. I was looking up the Dale Earnhardt car, different pictures of how it looks and all that kind of stuff. I think I did pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out, comparatively speaking, given that. So yeah, so that's that. All right, what else did I want to show you? What I'm doing back here? Oh yeah, so Mr. Michael had also asked for a bum burrito, so that's gonna be in there. Mr. Boss Mama gets the Tubi number 42. I'm gonna paint that. That's that deep orange. I'm gonna paint. I think it's a satin finish. I'm gonna pull this together. Just probably throw this up on eBay. This is a Kyle Busch 2021 pedigree. And I showed you the 26, and then Mr. Kyle, I'm going to get started on your Supras. So Mr. Kyle, there's a few of you guys are pretty crazy. Mr. Kyle's a crazy man. So, of course, Mr. Kyle is a Kyle Busch fan. And I've got these number 54 Fantasy Rowdy Energy paint schemes. And he sent me a bunch of Supras to build these for. So check this out. So he sent me a couple boxes of these Kyle Busch 5-pack Supra, collector's boxes. And so, yeah, he wants me to use these as donors for these Rowdy Energy cars. And so, yeah, I'm going to get started on those, Kyle. And, yeah, that's coming. It's definitely coming. Mr. Isaac, I got your boxes, and I'll be starting yours soon. And same with you, Mr. Sage. I got your box, and so I'm going to do that as well. So, yeah, that's what's going on, guys. A lot of customs are being built. A lot of stuff, a lot of irons in the fire, so to say. All right, let's get some decals on here. Yeah, my Pittsburgh Steelers are playing tonight. And as much as I like the Steelers, kind of grew up watching them, they are my favorite team. But I'll be honest with you guys, I think they've got a crappy team this year. I don't think they're going to be successful. I think the Browns take it to them tonight. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a little guy who builds NASCAR customs. I'm not that much of a prognosticator for sports. So I'm trying to get these to line up, and there's a little bit of white, and so I'm lining up the white here. But as you can see, it's not as, this decal on the side is not as taller than this decal, so whatever. So now that I got those two in place, I can come around here. Come on. And I can put this in place. Push out some of the water. And let me back this up a little bit. I get it too close, it doesn't focus, right? As much as I like watching people make stuff, if it's not focused, people are going to leave. Increase the quality of your videos, Mr. Doug. You're wasting my precious time. Alright, I think that's relatively level. Alright, maybe I gotta just get that car out of focus in the back and it'll come in. Okay. So he was a rookie. And you can see there's this. I could have cut it across here and been one decal, but this bumper is kind of inset here, and so it wouldn't have looked right. So and then you've got the little bow tie. Little bow tie. I've got a little conundrum, guys, just to let you know. So my dad's days of driving are kind of dwindling, and he's got a Chevy Silverado that I may end up buying from him. I'm not a Chevy guy. So, is that even focusing? Come on. So yeah, so that is it's a little conundrum I've got. I'm not a Chevy guy whatsoever, but I might have to be. Wouldn't that be crazy? Okay, so there's this little rear light. Goes up here. Okay. And then alright, so this is always weird trying to get this to center. Got our daughter coming home from college this weekend to visit. That's always fun. Looking forward to the hat. And the fall weather is coming. That's always a blessing. I'm not a big fan of the summer, guys. It's just too stinking hot. And so, man, I cannot get this to center. So I definitely like the fall. Come on, man. It's not bad. Not a big fan of that, but I guess it's not bad. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the fall, guys. NASCAR's got their playoff system. NFL is kicking off in full force. And then, I told you, I've gotten interested in soccer, European soccer, and you got the World Cup that starts in November. So, yeah, so stoked about that. All right, so yeah, so I've got one of my tasks tonight. I'm going to get those 4 cars, some JB weld on those, and put those all back together, and have those ready next to decal. And yeah, so I kind of showed you my board. This is what's going on. Let me finish with verse number 13. And you know what? Not long ago, I was at like 800 subscribers, and I've got 850. I'm like, what the heck? You guys are crazy. So grateful for that. Real excited to see that. And just humbled, again, that you guys would be interested in this hobby and in what I show you here on these videos. So, all right. So this actually was one of my most favorite verses in the Bible for many years. And it's Exodus 20:11, and it's a 6-day creation. And so, it's Exodus chapter 20, verse 11. So you got 10 verses before there, and those 10 verses, God is laying out the 10 commandments. And so this verse is tucked into the middle of the 10 commandments, as God is telling the Israelites, hey, these are the things you need to do. These are the things you don't do. So these are my commandments to you. And he gives this verse as a reason to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Okay? That's the 4th commandment. And he says, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. So I just think it's pretty cool. And this, I shared a verse before on scientists. We're going to believe scientists, we're going to believe Scripture. And I think Scripture is pretty clear that God made the world in 6 days. And I do think those are literal 24-hour days. I am a believer in 6-day creation. And the reason that I believe that, of course, because the Bible tells us that, but we know that God can do anything, and we know that he creates by speaking. And he doesn't need pre-existing materials. He speaks, boom, and it comes into existence. That is why he is God, all-powerful, and we're not. We have to have something existing in order to make something of any value. But the basis for that, and the basis for our week, our work week, that we would work 6 days and rest on the 7th day, is that that's what God did. And I think God could have created the world in 6 seconds if he wanted to, or in 3 seconds, or in a half a second. He didn't have to do it in 6 days, but he chose 6 days to be an example to us that we work for 6 days and we take a break on the 7th day. Not that God needed to rest. He never gets tired. He never goes to sleep. But we obviously get tired. We need rest every day. But he says, set aside a day, do your work in 6 days, and rest the Sabbath day. Rest on that 7th day. And he says, remember the Sabbath day. So one of the commandments is tied in. Love this verse. Hope it's a blessing to you, and even a challenge to you. All right, guys, God bless. Take care.